Just imagine like having to give up custody of your children because of such a reason, like a financial reason.
Hello, welcome to our YouTube channel. We are Enlighten Her, a women's first financial education company. And I am here today with one of our co-founders, Ed Vargo, and we want to just have Ed share a little bit about his why. Why did you decide to develop and create Enlighten Her?
You know, the genesis of the idea behind Enlighten Her was really founded from my girls. Like I have 5 daughters, as you know. And when I was looking at them and how they've grown up and how they interact around money, what was interesting was I'd hear my kids talking about money a certain way. Not like in a technical sense, just like talking about how they think about money and spending and those kinds of things. And then they would talk to me about their friends. Their friends would come over our house. Our house is like a gathering area. And you would hear their friends talking about money in a certain way, about how they're spending or how they're not having conversations around money at home. And it just struck me that my girls are going to have such a head start on life because they've learned about money from being, just luckily in this case, being the daughters of a financial advisor who happens to know quite a bit about money and who's instilled some of those values and ideas around money. And then I compare that to others who don't have that benefit. And so it just really crystallized to me that money is a skill that can be learned. It's not something that's inherent. You don't just wake up one day and know about money or are good at money, those kinds of things, but it can be taught. And so I started thinking about that from a larger context, not just within my family, but like, well, how can we take this understanding and expand upon it and do good for, I hate to be so cheesy to say do good for the world, but how can we have a larger footprint and carry this idea forward? And that really was the genesis behind Enlighten Her.
So I know Ed very well, and I know that 5 daughters, that they are a huge part of your why, but I know there's a little bit more to your story. And here at Enlighten Her, we're here for all women at all ages and stages. And so I'd like you to share a little bit about your mom and how that has also inspired you to want to help women in different stages of life.
True. One of the questions I get from people who don't know me is like, why are you so focused on helping women in money? Usually it's a woman financial professional working with other women, and so this is a little bit different in that. It didn't start with my kids though, to your point. It really started much earlier than that. So my mom is from South Korea. Her and my dad and my mom met during the Vietnam War. My father was stationed in South Korea during the war, met my mom there, fell in love, got married. My older brother was born in Korea, and then of course she was an immigrant, came into the United States. So my mom didn't read the language, didn't write the language, has never driven a car. And so her experience was a little bit challenging in a lot of ways. And money was one of those ways. That relationship didn't last, as many don't, unfortunately. But she went through this divorce process and had no idea what that was like. What she could do or should do, didn't understand the legal system. My father wasn't necessarily jumping up and helping her understand that. Not to speak bad about him, but just the way that went. And the long and short of it is that she didn't have any real economic power. She didn't have any economic mobility, didn't understand the finances. And so, unfortunately for all of us, in this case there was 4 kids, is that my mom had to end up giving up custody over her 4 children to my father because she didn't feel like she could take care of us. She didn't realize that it was something like joint custody. It's really hard to understand her perspective at that time. She was dealing with a lot of cultural barriers and obviously this money barrier being one of them. But that set up a chain of events in my life and for all of my siblings. My father was a single father and my mom was not able to be there for us in the way that she wanted to simply because she didn't understand the money side of it. And I think about that today. I think about if my mom had walked into my office today and said, or presented me with her situation, her life outcome, forget the money side of it, her life outcome and the life outcome of her children would be very different. We would have had a mother at home with us, or at least to a certain extent connected with us, whereas we didn't for a long time. And so, I carry that thought into really everything that I do in terms of working with women. And when I think about it from
see you like this very often. I think that's a lot of where Ed was going and getting at, was that the importance of how life could have been different if his mom had had financial mobility.
It's her birthday today.
Is it?
Like, you just imagine, you think about that.
I can't.
You just imagine like having to give up custody of your children because of such a reason, like a financial reason, and that's really what
Yeah.
is the tragedy in all that, is that it was preventable.
Yeah.
It could have been stopped. And so someone comes in my office and is faced with something similar. We still have women coming into our office today with similar stories, with similar feelings of helplessness and being out of control, not knowing what to do. It's not a money conversation, it's a life conversation. And it does, revolve around money. Money is a part of that, but it's certainly not the thing that's most important, but it does matter, right? And when you get the money wrong, and in a case like that, the money situation was wrong, that situation was handled not properly, it just extends to every part of that person's life. In my mom's case, it couldn't have been more personal than that, and down to us, and our existence and how we grew up. And so, growing up in that environment, and again, it's not to mean my dad was a bad person, it wasn't. It's not about him in this case. It's really about just how that unfolded. And I grew up poor in inner city Cleveland, my 3 siblings, and I don't begrudge that at all. I learned so much from that experience. I've learned what it's like to be on that side of the equation, lived that for many, many years, and grew up with that mindset. And so I didn't grow up with silver spoon, I didn't grow up around money, and I developed these money scripts or money thoughts that you have. These invisible money scripts is how we think about them. And those money scripts carry forward into life today. And so when you have that perspective and you understand that much of what people think and how they think about money today, even as grown adults, 50-year-old people, 30 years old, even into their later years, 70s and 80s, what happened early in life does matter. And it doesn't mean you're resigned to live a life based upon what happened to you when you were a child, but acknowledging that there are legs there, there's an extension of that world into today does matter. And so our job, when I think about my job in working with women and why I'm doing this work today, so how can we, at Enlighten Her, how can we take that knowledge and our understanding? I've been in this journey for 25 years, working closely with women almost the entire time, as you know. We've done that together, and we've learned a lot. We work with women of wealth. That's what we do. And we've learned not just what to do when you have the wealth, but how do you build it? How do you get there? What are the habits, the day-to-day ins and outs, the struggles that you might have in order to put yourself in that position? And with Enlighten Her, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to take that knowledge and understanding and bring it out to the masses. And quite frankly, the industry as a whole, financial services industry, not surprisingly, and I think most people probably understand this inherently, that it doesn't work with women as well as it does working with men. It just doesn't. When sort of Wall Street was concocted, the idea of Wall Street or that industry grew up with men serving other men and built a whole industry doing just that. And it worked really well, and it continues to work really well for men. It just doesn't work quite so well for women because it wasn't built for the way women think about money. And women think about money very differently than men do. And so Enlighten Her, what we're trying to do is we can't change Wall Street. That's the first step, because we know we can't change Wall Street. And when we're working with women, we want them to not look at outside themselves, we want to look within. Have that high internal locus of control, saying, what can I do today to better myself? Sure, there are some headwinds we have to go up against. The industry doesn't quite know how to deal with me. Fair enough. The industry isn't going to change for them though. And so we understand that, and so we're a small organization trying to do good things in the world. We're not going to change the industry either, but we can change women's lives, one person, one step at a time. And that's our mission. That's the idea, is to go out to help women find their own voice, to find agency, to raise their hand, to demand more from the industry where appropriate, but more importantly, to focus on themselves and say, what can I do to move things forward? They're going to have to find a way to make changes in their own life, and I think the best way to do that is to take control of that yourself, because now you are in control of your trajectory. You're not waiting or dependent upon someone else. And that's really important. Think about my girls. I do not want them to be dependent on anyone else, financially or otherwise, particularly financially, including myself. They should be able to stand on their own 2 feet. And when they do that, that's true independence. That's truly the ability to go out to the world and do the things you want to do because you're not held back by something like money. And money is so important because it's one of the most important tools that a person has in their arsenal. So that's Enlighten Her in a nutshell.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So the genesis is we're working in this financial professional career, but we can only help so many people. And so we have a lot of reasons for why we're here, why we want to bring this information out in the world. And we're hoping that this platform will allow us to share our 20 years, 25 years of experience, get it out to more people than we can work with on a day-to-day, one-on-one basis.
Enlighten Her is Big Tent. It's really about taking the knowledge and the understanding that we've learned and not to only hoard it. That's one of the things I found with this. Like, man, we do this work. We've gained so much knowledge and understanding over the years, and yet we can only help maybe a couple hundred households. That's it.
Yeah.
And it seemed like such a waste, right? So what can we do to get the word out and trying to help more people? And that's what Enlighten Her is about. It's not about traditional financial services kind of stuff. It really is about helping women find their voice to do better. And no matter where they are, you can be a really wealthy person and benefit from it. You could be just starting out, like my girl's just starting out, going from college into the workforce for the first time, or starting over. If you're someone who's gone through divorce, or perhaps you lost your spouse and you're starting over and taking your first steps, even at 50, of doing this on your own, or 60 doing this on your own, we want to be able to provide resources and guidance and understanding to help women go do that. And I think it's missing in the space today. It just is. I mean, most people who deal in personal finance want to be the traditional way because that's an established business. We know that works. You can make money that way and grow a successful business. Doing something like this, well, it's a lot harder, especially if you're a credentialed, established person. And I think that's the big difference with Enlighten Her. We're not, and this is not to be disparaging to the influencers out there. That's great, and it's bringing awareness to the industry, but what's behind that? And I feel that we have such great credentials behind us and working day to day with women, knowing exactly what that's like, being classically trained in finance, that we have the best of both worlds. And so I feel that we're in a great spot. We can do good for the world, advocacy-wise, with Enlighten Her, but also we can take care of those women who are women of wealth and need more traditional financial support.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your story and your why, and thank you for helping to create Enlighten Her. And Ed will be moonlighting, so if you like what you hear, he won't be on the channel all the time, but he will be kind of coming in on the channel. So if you like what you hear, you like the message from Ed, and that's kind of the energy and feel that you're needing, look for more videos from Ed in the future.
Thanks.
Thanks.